Good day, friends. This is Matthew Marcum, and I think this is probably my 15th attempt to make a concise video, not my strength, to hopefully update and encourage you in what's going on in the life of the mentoring program and, of course, our family, which is our main mission, right? So I have nothing to offer today that solves our current problems, that fixes the family issues, the things that we've lost, whether it be income or celebrations or you name it. You're all going through a loss that's very specific to you right now and your family, and I just want to let you know that even though distance separates us right now, that we love your family and we are praying for you, and I know you're praying for us. We can feel it. And I also just want to thank you for, despite the hardships you're facing, continuing to pray for and support this vital mentoring program with your finances. It's amazing. It's just amazing that you're helping carry us forward despite all the things that we're facing. And I would tell you, I'm not going to, try to conceal the fact that this is a challenging season in all angles. You know, we've had the ballet studio shut down, which is something our family is grieving, not having a recital, not having hundreds of families to invest in and celebrate the season with. There's this distance right now. I have been encouraged to see my wife and daughters, making hundreds of masks for health professionals, for immunocompromised, and for factory workers. That's been a good outlet. And they've also been making videos that they've been getting to parents of little dancers to be a part of their, goat ballet videos and their bunny videos. So it's been cool to see my wife and daughters persevere to still impact people. And honestly, it's reassured my heart. Even though so much has been sabotaged, or there's a lot of barriers in place right now to reaching our mentors, our students, and families right now, it's been amazing to see what doors have opened. In fact, the mentoring program, we have found ways through Zoom video to put together a mentor roundtable where all the mentors are joining me to talk about the difficulties of their mentoring relationships, the successes of the mentoring relationships, and we're finding ways to continue to reach these students who are really isolated right now. In fact, we're doing Zoom videos one-to-one between the mentors and students, and we're also working right now to reach out to the professionals the students were supposed to meet, to still have an opportunity for them to meet via Zoom so that the student can hear the inspired story from a veterinarian or an engineer or a health professional. These students, we're still finding ways to pour into their lives, which is awesome. And I would say we have huge plans to expand the program into new communities this year in both Eaton, Ohio and Westchester. And I refuse to let the current season and all of its challenges stop us from the lives we are determined to impact in this coming fall. In fact, I've already got 8 students and families that we already know are going to be new members of our program. But even beyond that, we're opening up these new sites in Eaton and Westchester, and that will be even more lives that we get to impact with you. And so a good example of how this is working out is that we've partnered with Edge Teen Center, which is in 2 different school districts in the Westchester area at Lakota East and Lakota West. And what we're doing is the Edge Teen Centers are these after-school sites where students who really need something after school to support them and give them a safe space to be with their peers and with some adult volunteers, that's where they go almost on a daily basis. And those teen centers support over 150 students and growing on a daily basis. And these students are wonderful young men and women that we want to provide opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have, despite the challenges that they face with, most of them, a lot of really complex situations at home. And so how awesome that Edge Teen Center is still wanting to promote this program via newsletters and directly communicating with parents, even during this pandemic, so that we can meet these students and their parents in the season ahead, and they'll be in our program in the fall. So that's just something I wanted to share with you, that even though new funding is being compromised because of the separation, we are not stopping our efforts to reach our current students and their families, and to add even more to the program this season. And one of the really things I would end with, because I don't want to keep you on this video too long, is that I've had to pick up a lot of hospice shifts recently, not only because we have income to replace, and don't a lot of us have income to replace, so I've been picking up these night shifts doing bedside care with patients who are in their last hours and days. And one of the last week when I was sitting with a patient right at the end of my 16-hour shift, so I was exhausted and drinking a cup of coffee to stay awake so I could get home. But I was sitting with this single mother, apparently, who was the daughter of the patient, and she said, "Hey, what is your day job that you usually do during the week?" And I said, "Oh, I run this mentoring program," and I went on to describe what the mentoring program was. And she said, "Oh my goodness, I've got a 15-year-old daughter who really could desperately use a relationship like that, over the next few years to help her out." And she said, "Man, I wish I could have access to that." And so, for some reason, I had my business cards on me for the mentoring program, and so I pulled one out, and I was getting ready to show her a picture as well. And right before I showed her this picture, I said, "Hey, by the way, I know your daughter's only 15, but is there a certain profession that she's interested in at this point?" And she said, "Yeah, she's actually really interested in veterinary medicine. She loves animals." And I said, "You are not going to believe this, but look at this picture." And so I turned around my phone, and the picture was of one of our participants in our program feeding a giraffe. And so 2 months ago, the professional that she shadowed was a veterinarian at the Cincinnati Zoo. And part of that experience was her getting to watch them take blood for labs for the giraffes and getting to feed these giraffes. And I said, you would not believe this, but this veterinarian, after he met this student, said, "Hey, Matthew, I want to make sure that you know that any students that ever come through your program, and including this student again, if she wants to come again, I would be glad to host them and to shadow me and come to the zoo." And so this is such a horrible time. Let me not, try to describe it as anything but, and I'm getting emotional even just thinking about the things that we've had to face as a family and as a mission that have frustrated me. That there are so many barriers in place right now for you, for your family, and for what we're doing together. And I need these encouraging moments. I need to know that working a night shift and stepping into something I didn't think I would have to do would open me up to a mother and her daughter and her family, not only to serve them in a season of loss, but to be able to open up a door potentially for her daughter's future, to get a mentor and a friend into her life to support her during her teenage years, but also to open up professionals and opportunities for her to have an inspired career and to find a way forward for her faith and her family. And so you are a part of that. And I don't know what struggles and challenges you're facing right now, but I know they're enormous. And I hope you know that even in this impossible season, that God is for you. He's not against you. And I would just encourage you, you're worth investing in, you're worth being heard in whatever your losses are. So feel free to reach out to me by email, by phone call. I'd love to set up a time if I can support you in any way to just process what you're going through right now and just not have any solutions, but just to walk through it. So yeah, don't be alone in this. I want to just end this with a quick scripture that I hope will be affirming to you. And it's simply from Philippians 4:11-13. And Paul says, "Not that I am speaking of being in need, for I have learned in whatever situation I am to be content. I know how to be brought low, and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I've learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need." And of course, this one ends with, "I can do all things through him who strengthens me." Now, Paul, when he's talking about this, he says, "I have learned," which basically speaks into the fact that he's experienced depravity, he's experienced abundance. And we know with Paul, some of the greatest gifts that he has given us in the truth of Scripture and the hope of the gospel came when he was imprisoned, when he had nearly died. Job, some of the greatest faith was expressed when everything was stripped bare from his life. John the Revelator, who we read about in Revelation as he was on an island in isolation, spoke what was going to be the promise of eternity, what our future is. And so I don't know what our future looks like a day, a month, a year from now, but I know there is a future. And I'm so glad it's not in my hands. I'm so glad it's not in yours. It's in God's hands. So be comforted, be encouraged. God is for you. He will carry us through the season. No matter what may come, we can trust in an unchanging God who has not proven that he is no longer faithful. He is faithful, and he is true. I love you, and I hope to hear from you. I hope this video has been encouraging, and I thank you once again for your prayers and support. Our family is so blessed by you, and hopefully you are blessed as well. Have a great day.